So we have seen that the action of the estrogens on the bones. So in estrogen deficiency, there is a delay in the epiphyseal fusion, and the person can become very tall. Action on the protein synthesis, it has anabolic action on the protein synthesis. Then action on the coagulation, it increases the estrogen increases circulating levels of factor 2, 7, 9 and 10, decreases level of antithrombin 3, increases platelet adhesiveness, and that's why it enhances blood coagulation, increases coagulability of the blood. And so the side effects are the increase in the thromboembolic phenomena, thromboembolic episodes, which is a side effect of the estrogen therapy. It increases HDL level and decreases LDL level. This is the action seen on the lipid metabolism. Triglyceride level is increased and cholesterol level is decreased. Fluid balance has a mineralocorticoid action, increases salt and water retention, causes edema and weight gain. Gastrointestinal tract reduces bowel motility, increases cholesterol in the bile. Action on the cancer cells. 80% of the breast cancer cells cancers rely on the supply of the estrogen to grow. There is increased risk of developing endometrial cancer due to the estrogens. So estrogens treatment leads to breast cancer and the endometrial cancer, and it has been observed that suppression of production of estrogen leads to the treatment of this cancer because they are estrogen dependent. Most of the breast cancers and the endometrial cancers are estrogen dependent. So suppression of production of estrogen is a treatment approach for the treatment of these cancers. You can see that in this slide the individuals without estradiol are tall, unicoid, as epiphyseal closure is delayed or may not take place. Bone structure is affected, resulting in early osteopenia and osteoporosis. Postmenopausal women have accelerated loss of bone mass due to relative estrogen deficiency. So there is a loss of bone mass. In this slide you can see the action of the estrogens on the bones. Estrogens increases apoptosis of the osteoclast and decreases apoptosis of the osteoblast and the osteocytes. So there is a decrease in the bone resorption and increase in the bone formation, and bone remodeling is reduced. So this is the action of the estrogen on the bones. Here you can see that the estrogen deficiency leads to the bone loss by direct and indirect action. Direct action is increased bone resorption and decreased bone formation. Remodeling imbalance will be there and there will be bone loss, while indirectly it can cause secondary hyperparathyroidism leading to the increased bone resorption. So estrogen deficiency leads to the bone loss by both direct and indirect action. Now coming to the therapeutic uses of the estrogens. Dysmenorrhea. Estrogens is used in dysmenorrhea, primary hypogonadism or the Turner syndrome, as a postmenopausal hormone replacement therapy, in osteoporosis, contraception, and other uses are the dysmenorrhea, intractable dysmenorrhea, hirsutism. Now hormone replacement therapy is given to the postmenopausal women who are suffering from lot of symptoms due to estrogen deficiency, and such therapy is always combined with the progestin. So estrogens are not given alone, but they are combined with the progestins. Now this slide shows the signs and symptoms related to the estrogen deficiency in a postmenopausal woman. This is the vasomotor instability will be there, like hot flushes, night sweat, sleep disturbances, nausea, palpitation, urogenital atrophy like dyspareunia, pruritus, vaginal dryness, bleeding, urinary frequency will be there, urgency, urinary incontinence. Skeletal symptoms will be like osteoporosis, joint pain, muscle pain. Skin and soft tissue symptoms like decrease in the breast size, thinning of the skin, loss of elasticity of the skin. Psychological symptoms like mood disturbances, memory loss, fatigue, reduced libido. So these are all the symptoms seen in the postmenopausal women due to estrogen deficiency. This slide also shows the symptoms of the estrogen deficiency in postmenopausal women, like hot flushes, changing sleep pattern, emotional changes like mood swings, headache, palpitation, generalized itching. Now coming to the hormone replacement therapy. So hormone replacement therapy, as we have seen, the treatment is given only to those women who are having severe vasomotor symptoms like the hot flushes, night sweat, palpitations, depression, irritability and insomnia. Genital atrophy can also be seen and osteoporosis will also be there, that can lead to the fracture. So in such women you have to start hormone replacement therapy. There is higher incidence of cardiovascular disease in postmenopausal women. So estrogens are given by short term estrogen therapy and long term estrogen therapy. Now in short term estrogen therapy, estrogens are given for only few days to treat the vasomotor symptoms. Transdermal estrogen patch can be given or conjugated estrogens can be given. Conjugated estrogens are generally given for the long term estrogen therapy in postmenopausal women. The main indications of long term estrogen therapy is to delay osteoporosis or to prevent osteoporosis and to delay and prevent atherosclerosis. Because estrogen are having, as we have seen the actions of the estrogens are having increased bone mass and decrease the bone resorption, and they also have cardioprotective action, like they increase the HDL level and decrease the LDL level. Hormone replacement therapy also prevents the risk of Alzheimer's disease and the coronary artery disease in these postmenopausal women. But the side effects are endometrial cancer and the breast cancer. So to protect from the endometrial and breast cancer, a progestin should be always combined with the estrogen. Progestin given is the medroxyprogesterone, which is given for the last 14 days of a cycle. Estrogen alone should be given in hysterectomized women. No need to add progesterone in a hysterectomized women. The most commonly used estrogen is the conjugated estrogen for the treatment of the osteoporosis. Or for long term estrogen therapy, you have to use conjugated estrogen, and transdermal estrogen patches can be used. They are also effective and they reduce the side effects of the estrogens. Second important use are the drawbacks of the HRT. We will see later on in adverse reactions. Second important use is the oral contraceptives. Estrogens are used as in oral contraceptives because they decrease the release of LH and the FSH from the anterior pituitary, and they inhibit the mid-cycle LH surge. So there is no ovulation. Synthetic estrogens are used, and they are used in combination with the progesterone. Third use is the senile vaginitis, where the topical estrogen are given. Dysmenorrhea, estrogens are used in combination with progestin to suppress the ovulation, because ovulatory cycles are painful and anovulatory cycles are painless. The next important use is delayed puberty in the girls, that is Turner syndrome and hypopituitarism. So here in patients suffering from Turner syndrome and hypopituitarism, estrogens are given to develop the secondary sexual characteristics and to avoid osteoporosis in these girls. Cyclical treatment is given. CA prostate, in carcinoma prostate, estrogen is palliative. Phosphasterol is given, which is a prodrug of the estrogen, gets converted to the estrogen in the prostatic tissue or in the prostate cells. Phosphasterol is converted to the stilbestrol by the acid phosphatase enzyme in the prostatic tissue. So these are the important uses of the estrogen. First is the postmenopausal hormone replacement therapy, oral contraceptives, senile vaginitis, dysmenorrhea, delayed puberty in the girls or Turner syndrome, and CA prostate. Then coming to the preparations of the estrogens and dosage. For hormone replacement therapy, generally the conjugated estrogen is used. Dosage forms are various. You can give tablets or transdermal patch or transdermal gel or vaginal ring. Natural estrogens are available as tablets, micronized tablet. Simple tablets are 1 mg, 2 mg tablet. Micronized tablet are 0.5 mg for oral use. Intramuscular injection is also available of estradiol. Estradiol patches are there, that is transdermal patches, releasing 25, 50 or 100 microgram of estrogen for 24 hours. So there are different dose of the transdermal patches like 25, 50 or 100 microgram, which gets released in 24 hours, and they can be used for around 4 days. Then sprays are also available: estrogen transdermal spray, estradiol gel, estradiol implant, vaginal tablet, and vaginal creams. 0.1% estradiol succinate cream. So all these are the various dosage forms of natural estrogens. Then semi-synthetic steroidal estrogen like ethinyl estradiol tablet is also available: 0.01 milligram, 0.025 milligram, 0.05 milligram. Conjugated estrogens are available. They are available as 0.625 and 1.25 milligram tablet. The conjugated estrogens are a mixture of numerous water soluble conjugated estrogen, mainly the esters of estrone and equilin obtained from the pregnant mare's urine. So conjugated estrogen generally are preferred for the long term estrogen therapy. Then synthetic non-steroidal estrogens are also available as tablets. Then coming to the pharmacokinetics of the estrogens, natural as well as synthetic estrogens can get absorbed from the GI tract, but the natural estrogen undergo high first pass metabolism and they have short duration of action, so their bioavailability is less. So to overcome this, the synthetic estrogens are developed. Most of the estrogens, they get excreted in the urine and metabolized in the liver. Liver plays an important role in the conjugation of the steroidal estrogens. Non-steroidal estrogens such as diethylstilbestrol is not metabolized easily, hence it is excreted in free state. Estrogen esters like benzoate and the dipropionate are absorbed slowly and are effective for several days or weeks. Intrahepatic circulation of estrogen occurs. Now coming to the adverse reactions of the estrogens. Adverse reactions are divided into those following the physiological doses as in hormone replacement therapy and those following the pharmacological doses. So when they are used as a hormone replacement therapy in postmenopausal women, generally these are very small doses of conjugated estrogens and they can cause nausea, vomiting, anorexia similar to that of the pregnancy. They can be minimized by taking the drug at bedtime. Some women may experience edema and weight gain. There can be tenderness of the breast and fullness of the breast. Bleeding can occur in some women. There can be activation of the uterine fibroid and endometriosis. Uterine fibroid can undergo deterioration during this therapy. Migraine may worsen. Hypertension may occur. Gallstones can occur. HRT's contraindications we'll see later on. While those following the oral following the pharmacological doses are as in oral contraceptive, you will study them in the chapter of the oral contraceptive, but still I will mention nausea, vomiting, breast tenderness, water retention with edema, weight gain, increased incidence of endometrial cancer and breast cancer, thromboembolic complications, increased incidence of the gallstones and liver disease can occur. The doses, if you see, of the HRT are very low, they are almost 1/5 of the oral contraceptive dose. Hence the side effects with the HRT doses are very few and very less severe. So I have mentioned it separately. Adverse effects of estrogen following HRT and adverse effects of estrogen following the pharmacological doses, those are used in the oral contraceptives. Now coming to the contraindications of the estrogens, they should not be given to pregnant women and breastfeeding women, unexplained uterine bleeding, certain forms of cancer, those with blood clotting disorders. Then in patients having history of coronary heart disease, transient ischemic attack or stroke, uncontrolled hypertension. So in these patients the estrogens are contraindicated. Now this slide shows the risk factors of atherosclerosis and circulatory diseases and the response to the estrogen replacement therapy. So arterial resistance is increased in postmenopausal women, while after estrogen therapy it is decreased. Both by oral estrogens as well as transdermal patches it is decreased.